Alrighty, so we're recording. Welcome everyone to the TimePro Sprint Review for Sprint 313. We're definitely getting up there now. Let's jump into the email and we'll show you what we've been working on. Okay, 313. So this was a 2-week sprint. I believe it was drawn out since there wasn't a whole lot of work being done on TimePro. I think dev availability has been a little bit of an issue. We've all sort of been pulled between different projects or client work. So hence the extended. We had the 1 sprint goal, which was allowing line items to be manually moved. So we had a little bit of a conversation about this the other day with Yuli. This is no longer a priority.
Yeah, so FYI, I thought this was one of Betty's feedback. Hey, children. I thought this was one of Betty's feedback points. It turns out it wasn't. It was just something that was an extra thing. It's kind of nice to have rather than one of the things that I thought that Adam you were waiting on. So just heads up on that. That's why I deprioritized it compared to the other things we were working on. It's quite a big task.
Yeah. We had a look. It's going to be a lot bigger, and sure, it might be great to have at some point, but the amount of work isn't really justified at the moment. Alrighty, moving down. As I mentioned, it's mainly been Tom. I've sort of been pulled in since client work finished up last week, and then we've had JK for today. Sprint backlog. Let's have a quick look. I should have had this prepared. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Sprint 113. So we've had a couple of little bug fixes up the top here, and also a small improvement to the invoice email subject. JK and I had a little bit of a look at some of these two here, 3 and 4. They are just small sort of UI.
Are you zoomed at 125%?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Sorry, my bad, Adam. How's that? Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, so these 3 and 4 are just sort of UI fixes. As I've mentioned, with us not being on the project, I'm not entirely sure of the full context surrounding these first 2, but I'll get a little bit.
That's okay. They're small things. I know what they are.
Awesome. Alrighty. In terms of the Ingram micro work, so I've sort of been trying to pluck away at a few of them. The first one there surrounds the feature toggle that's been switched to a tenant scope since it's a tenant feature. The integration for the background tasks that will actually do the invoice processing, I've worked on, and I've got a background job there running now. However, this PBI was a lot larger than we originally thought. There was still a lot of business logic that sort of needed to be worked on in terms of the actual invoice generation. There's a few little bugs there, and actually seeing what data we're pulling in from Ingram Micro had to be reviewed. So hence that one was a bit bigger. But as part of that, I've also spent a little bit of time adding documentation there for the setup and trying to make it a couple of sort of general questions and stuff answered in the wiki for oncoming developers. We've also done a little bit of addressed a little bit of tech debt. So we have a EF Core interceptor, which is now, it has been used previously in the rest of the application, but now it's being used in the Ingram Micro DB context. And this is just making sure that we don't have to manually update these audit fields. Cool. So they are all the complete ones, with the ones that are still remaining.
Quick question so far. Did you work on any of the stuff with Tom? Is he getting up to speed on how to do the Ingram Micro stuff?
Since I've started sort of working on it, Tom had to finish off a PBI, and then he's been pulled onto a spec review. So.
Okay, so not yet. All right, no worries.
Yeah, cool.
Adam, the reason I asked that is the Ingram Micro stuff stalled while these guys were on client work because Tom came on, but he didn't have any context. So I asked them to swarm if they could.
Yeah. As soon as he's off it, I'll pair up with him and try and keep him up to speed with it. Cool. would you like me to go through the ones that are remaining here, or any in
If you
particular?
Have they already
progress
been
on them,
re-estimated?
I believe so. Yeah. Well, my one has been. Again, I'm not really sure on the context of the rest of these because they've sort of been partially actioned, but
Okay,
I'll,
no worries.
I'll give you the
from
information I know.
From
Anyway.
my point of view, I'm fine to skip to the retro at this point and at least see them possibly next week when they're done. I didn't
Cool.
hear what Adam said though because I talked over him.
Yeah, I would like to know any items that you made progress on.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Well, this one here, I've made a lot of progress. It's actually just outstanding PR. This is part of the background task generation. We're now encapsulating like all of the logs for, you know, what's being created, what hasn't been created, and any issues in an email, which is being sent to the account managers on the invoice generation, just so we're not missing anything.
And how are you doing those scheduled tasks?
These are all through Hangfire still.
Hang fire. Oh, ouch. Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
What's the new
been-
cool version of Hangfire nowadays?
So there's many options now.
Yeah, there are many options. We just have quite a few epics right now, so we need to focus on getting things done.
It still seems to be doing everything we want it to, so it's all right for now.
Obviously, it's going to stop us moving to the cloud. That's why I worry about it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. That's all the complete PBIs. So I'll continue on with the email. So suggested timesheet usage and automated timesheet usage. We're back up on both of those, particularly on the suggested timesheet adoption rate, where we've seen an 8% increase, which is nice to see.
That is awesome. Can I just look at that a little slower?
Sure.
And who do we want to use it that is not using it at the moment that could be using it?
I think it's starting to get to the point where the usage might be just higher if we start to integrate GitHub, because I know a lot of the automation part, like in terms of the comments, might not be applicable for people that are solely developing on GitHub.
Okay. If you could, in the next sprint, find out the people that aren't using it because of GitHub and just list the people that would start using this if we added the GitHub integration. Maybe that should be a higher priority than the Angular 10 migration to Angular 18.
Sure, no worries. Could someone jot that down for me, please? Okay. Sprint burden down, bit of a bumpy sprint. We didn't see a whole lot of progress in the first week. Again, dev availability. And then it was just a matter of pulling in PBIs to work on as devs became available. Hence the spike here as JK joined, give him some work. Cool. DevOps, code coverage, nothing to call out here. Nothing has really changed in that aspect. Build pipeline, nothing really to call out here, much the same.
Just a small thing, after a figure, you have a line break.
Have a line break, okay, sure.
No, after. Yeah.
Quick question: the production releases, six production releases sounds unlikely for TimePro when I know that they're normally very nervous about deploying.
So this is thank you to SSW France.
Yes.
There's been a fair few, mainly because
That's
we're
Easy
all in
Leaf.
the same stuff as Easy Leaf, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yes, our changes do still get pushed out with their production releases, so we're benefiting from it. Cool. Application health. We've seen a little bit of an increase in errors, but it's not really seeming like anything to worry about. I noticed that there was a PBI in the sprint about addressing the application map because it sort of seems like we're running multiple instances, but we're waiting on Jerry's input, who is locked away in client work at the moment. So we'll hopefully get to pick up that one soon if we can snag a little bit of his time. Any questions up to here so far?
Well, I can tell you that application map does not look normal. I see lots of red, little circles. I think something's gone wrong here, JK.
Yeah, we don't know why we have the two the two in the middle, green ones. They are basically the same service. We don't know why they're split up. But a lot of the reds are from CRM where initial hits go 4-1 and then they are successful, as well as Azure DevOps dependencies. We also get some 4-1s on that one as well, where users need to update their Azure DevOps credentials.
Anyway, we've got a PBI to look into it, so hopefully this week we can see it. All right. State of the epics. We've seen a little bit of a jump in the recurring invoices epic. Don't get too excited, Yuli. There's a fair few PBIs that also haven't been tied to the epic itself, so 88% is a little bit optimistic.
So that's fine. As we make new PBIs, can we add them to the epic so I get a full? Basically, I'm using this as my progress bar, right?
Yeah, for sure. I want to do a little bit of refinement maybe this afternoon and just plug those in.
Cool. I also noticed the count has reduced by 1. So it went from 18 to 17.
Good catch. That may have been that one was taken out of the MVP epic. I believe. Oh no, sorry.
Okay.
It might have been one of the old.
Somebody's using light mode in Azure DevOps. Ugh, what's wrong with someone?
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, no. My eyes.
Yeah.
You flashbanged me.
Brilliant. Cool. Alrighty. R&D, I've thrown a couple of things in here. A little bit of investigation with the Ingram Micro Marketplace API and what data we can actually get from their reports. And then also the best strategy for fixing the test environment, considering we've had a CRM issue. One of the PBIs that JK has been looking into today was about the SSW EU tenant, and its database is a little bit polluted because we've had a mixture of different CRMs feeding into it over time. So it's going to be the best way forward of how we can correct that. Any questions? All good? Cool. Sprint Retro. It was just sort of JK and I on this. So if anyone has anything to add, let us know. We got JK for one day, was a big up. A bit of a down that JK wasn't present for the rest of the days. The deployments, we're seeing a fair few deployments coming through from SSW France, so that works well for us, but also it's great to see that Easy Leave is being actively worked on. And then I added one there on the behalf of Yuli, presumably, for Ingram Micro progress. It's been a little while since there's been much work done on that. Improvements for next sprint. Probably a conversation that we could take offline, but at the moment it sort of seems that the TimePro dev resources are a bit slim. That could just be we're prioritizing other products coming up to NDC, but if we want to see the Ingram Micro stuff in production soon, it would probably be nice if we could have a couple more devs working on it.
Well, we got you back, so that's a good start. Can you put a small RO in TimePro? Just capital T, capital P.
Good catch. Yep.
All right. I might just say what I really would love to see. First of all, what I've just mentioned before, in which people are not using the automated stuff because they need the GitHub feature. I know which people that are. I might prioritize that. I definitely would like to see an Ingram Micro done video, even if it's rough. It is the specs didn't go through me, and the actual end result is not clear to me.
Okay.
Is it obvious to you that Tom was doing a little bit of work on this?
I don't believe he was doing a whole lot of work on Ingram Micro itself.
No, just on TimePro itself.
It's been a while since I've been in TimePro, so there's been a lot of changes. I'm not sure who's done what.
And looking at the epics, can I just see that? I just want to see the order of the epics just up above.
Just up above.
Oh well,
Yep.
yes. So we've got that second one is Angular 10 to 19 now.
19, sure.
Yeah, and I think we might want to move that GitHub integration above that. I don't know. But I am depending on that, I would like to do the Angular 10 to 19, ideally, with Jeffrey and Aman.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like you to do a bit of a investigation on that. I do want to know what third-party controls are being used on that before we touch that.
What third-party controls? Okay. Like for the upgrade.
Different
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kendo's definitely going to be a limiting factor. I think we're going to have to either upgrade that or finish moving everything. It seems like things have sort of been migrated to Angular material too, so we might be able to go that route.
Okay.
Cool.
And one more thing, this is probably for you, JK, in the epics. Just before you have that migration to Azure, you need to put one before that to migrate off Hangfire. So you better put that on an epic before deployment to Azure.
I have a feeling there might be a PBI under the epic, but yeah, sure. We can make that an epic on its own.
Yeah, I think we have an investigation in that.
Yeah, I think it's an epic on its own that should be above that.
Adam, if it helps, I've just done some investigation. There's 27 people who've used GitHub in the last 30 days.
Yeah, all right. So that sounds like an important feature. So I'd like a decision basically investigating that, whether you're comfortable adding that feature.
So that wouldn't change suggested timesheets. That would just change the automated notes. Is that right?
Yes.
No, so not the final project.
They might.
But that's.
They might want that in Angular 19 before doing that work.
Yeah.
Especially this front end and heavy. One more thing I just want to mention: we are in .NET 8 now. I do not want to move to .NET 9. Okay. I don't know if you need to put that there, but just on hold .NET 9. We're not doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. I think .NET 10 will make more sense. .NET 9 doesn't have sufficient stuff to warrant.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to put that in the epics. Hold.
That would be an ADR, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know, maybe, but I want to clear that I don't want people to investigate that one.
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't even looked into .NET 9 to be honest for TimePro, so it wasn't even on the list. Just for previous question about FOM, so he did contact me for the free PBIs that he worked on, TimePro invoice email subject enhancement, the fix issue in suggested timesheet report, and recently invoice date mismatch in credit note. So we had some short chats about those.
Right. Okay.
Worries.
And Toby, can you put a note too about the Angular upgrade that it's Aman and myself, and we need to look into the third parties before we start, just so we don't forget. Thank you.
And how are the French team going in terms of, you grabbed the code? Did you go, whoa, there's a whole lot of stuff here that's come through because the French team have been working miles away?
Since it's sort of pushed into its own module, it's been fine for us. I mean, locally, I don't even think I've got it running as the feature flag, so it hasn't impacted local dev. Really? But seeing it on production, yeah, it's great I've used it a bunch of times. It's awesome.
Oh, have you? Okay. Yeah. It's working nicely. Okay. And have you guys given the French team a test pass?
Yes.
There seems to be 3 of you.
I've given them a fair few compliments, but not an official test pass because I haven't been asked. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right. You should ping them and say, give me a test, please, and I'll give you a test pass.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
But I started using it, and I certainly found lots of little things.
Yep. Yeah. the things that I have found, I've just been letting them know through the Teams channel.
So, for
Cool.
example, just go in there and say, I've changed my lunch break from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, and see what it does. Like, just go around and test it a bit more thoroughly, Toby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'll request them.
Yeah. Now, by the way, I've already requested that. I don't know why that type of change is not in my settings. That's where I'd expect to find it. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to find it in the Easy Leave admin's settings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, you just do your own thing and give your own opinions.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
So, sorry, just on that, was that a real thing? The change in the lunch break? Because lunch break in your timesheet is not actually set as a time. It's just time less 1 hour. We don't say when that 1 hour happens.
That's true. But let's just say somebody takes leave from 11 till 2.
Does that include their lunch break or not? Okay, got it.
Yes. So it's a little bit different once you do Easy Leave.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Yeah, and then you got to test the calculation works and stuff.
Yeah.
Or test that it's clear that that's not supported either way. But
yeah, that would also impact the suggested timesheets, because right now suggested timesheets, it basically applies the 1 hour if it's full day, but otherwise it doesn't apply it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, in the interest of time, I might just try and skip forward to the forecast here. So I've added the sprint goal. Let me know if you disagree with it, but I'll just imagine Ingram Micro getting it into a testing state.
Is that reasonable in one sprint?
I think we're getting close. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the main testers will need to be Mike. He's using it actively for a client already. He's doing it manually at the moment, so he'll need to sign off as well.
Sure. Okay. Well, in testing state, this probably wouldn't include the background automation. I would want it to be manually triggered just so we can keep an eye on it and it's not just doing things in the background that we're not aware of. So I'll give him the brief anyway. All good.
Now, will that goal include a done video?
You bet.
Okay. put plus done video.
Yeah, okay.
And really, and come back to me also as a second sprint goal, whether GitHub or Angular 19 is a higher priority. That's at the moment. I'd just like to know what you guys think about the priority of that.
Sorry, so GitHub versus Angular.
Yeah, GitHub integration versus Angular 19.
Yeah. Is GitHub integration relatively quick?
No, I don't think so.
No.
They're both a piece of work.
Yeah, we will need to add some UI elements to connect accounts and things like that. So the backend part is actually going to be very easy. It's going to be the UI part that's going to take the most time.
Yeah, because I figured we already have all the code we need to do. Like once we have the comments, it's just retrieving comments from a different source.
The challenge is the linking up users with the GitHub account, making sure that we store all of that stuff correctly, manage the accounts and stuff like that. That's especially when you get.
I don't know if it helps or not, but the Yakshiva team had to do some similar stuff, so maybe chat to them.
Okay.
Alrighty. Nice. In terms of what we've actually pulled in, I've pulled in the PBIs that we have a little bit of progress on, a small bug, and then also just a whole bunch of Ingram Micro.
Quickly about that cleanup SSW EU staging environment? I've seen that PBI for it feels like a long time. Is that important? Is that a big thing? Is it really a 4? What is that one?
I think for SSW friends, like John asked for us to work on this because there's a few bugs we can't fix until this is cleaned, and they're important bugs, like where timesheets are just moved around randomly. So yeah, we need this clean to investigate and fix it. So it's quite urgent, but yeah, it's been there for a while because it's a big task. And yeah.
So is 4 remaining? Is that accurate, or is it much bigger than that?
It might be an 8.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it, trying to figure out things out, and yeah, I think it's going to be closer to an 8.
All right. I'll just quickly update that in DevOps too.
Thanks.
Yeah. No dramas. Alrighty. Any other questions on that one? Perfect. I'll take the silence as a no.
Happy with that.
Cool. Alrighty. Sorry for the long one. Hopefully we'll be able to speed it up in the future. I'll upload this once it's all done to our SSW TimePro YouTube channel. Alrighty. Thanks everyone. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Toby.